full week. So, we're still kind of dialing in on some stuff. So any feedback is great. Let us know if there's any topics that you want to talk about. We're always up to hear what you guys want to, what input you want from us, because that's a part of the show, So all of you that are watching us are want to learn more about our company, Copywriter Today. Let's just give it about 30 more seconds or so, and then you guys can watch it later if you don't catch us live. It's funny how Jeff and I are able to co-host the show together, because as you can see, he's wearing a Cubs shirt, and I don't think you can notice, but I'm wearing an Indian shirt. So I don't know how we got stuck doing this together, huh, Jeff?
Indeed, we have to practice tolerance.
Yeah, this is a good test for ourselves too.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, it is what it is. I don't have to worry about it. So, you guys got today off. I saw tomorrow you guys play host to the White Sox. So,
yeah, yep. I'm excited about that.
We're at home tonight playing the Dodgers, so that's going to be
okay.
But Lester's on the mound, so it'd be all right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Good man. Good man. All right, guys. Well, I see one person signed on. So whenever you sign on, just say hi. Let us know where you're from, and let us know if you have any questions as we're talking. Hey, Gabe.
What's up, Gabe?
So let us know if you have any questions, or, just feel free to just say hi. So today on this episode, we're going to be talking about how creating effective content is not just the writing. So there's so much more to, creating quality content as opposed to just writing, which sounds crazy because, you just think like that's all you're going to need. You just need to, get some high quality writing, but there's so much more to it. There's a bunch of parts. So I'm going to pass that over to Jeff, and he's going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think especially for business owners, when they realize they have a need for content, whether it's for a website or a blog or social media post, not enough people realize that writing is a skill set, just like any other job, just like a nursing field or construction or home building. Writing's a skill, and not just anybody has it. And a lot of people don't realize how hard it can be to have effective content that don't have to go through the process on a daily basis. And there's so much more involved than just sitting down with pen and paper or with a computer and writing. There's just like any other job, you learn different things that make things go easier. It's the same way with writing. There's several areas you got to keep in mind while you're trying to think of the words to use that'll get your point across.
Right. That's a good point. And that's always hard as a writer too, is, you're like, I'm a good writer, and, you've gotten that feedback, but there's always just that one thing missing. And it could be something so little that can totally ruin the whole article, or not getting as much positive feedback.
Yeah, exactly, because anytime you're writing for a business, personal website's one thing, but a business website, you have to keep in mind what matters most is the audience and how they perceive what you're delivering. If they don't like the content you're putting out, then you're doing more harm than you are good.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely, it's something to keep in mind.
So aside from like the writing aspect, obviously that's the point of our show today. So what are like the four essentials for creating content that's actually going to grab the audience?
The things you want to keep in mind are the headline you're using, the images that you use to go along with the article or blog post or website content, the formatting you use, which plays a major role, and then keyword placement.
Okay,
and
awesome.
It takes a lot of work in all four areas to make sure you're coming up with the effectiveness of content that you wanna be using.
Yeah, and it's crazy just with a company. They come to us and they want to increase the traffic on their page or their blog or website, whatever it may be. They just think that, hey, just write this article, but they fail to mention that, keywords are really important, especially for getting your page up high on a Google search. So before we jump into keywords, I know you mentioned headlines are really important. Just for the viewers, why are headlines in an article so critical?
Well, regardless if someone's searching for a subject on Google or you're just scrolling through a social media platform, the headline's what gets your attention. Say for instance, you Google a subject and you come up with the first page of results. You don't actually see any of the content. You don't see any images. All you see is the headline. Normally, when you use social media, you might get the first sentence or two of an article, but the headline is the primary focus. So that is extremely important. And normally what I try to do, unless I have specific instructions, otherwise, I always try to make sure I'm asking a direct question in my headline. That way I'm getting the attention. Because, views are views. Of course, you want your article in as many eyes as possible. But the primary focus is putting it in front of people who are going to take action on what they're reading. So if you can ask a direct question, the people that take the time to read it, that they've got intent on using that information in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And that's a good point about using a question, because what if people are on Google and they're searching for, and they have that same exact question. So when they're typing that in, chances are that article will be popping within, depending on their ranks on Google, that's going to pop up eventually.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to play into that. I know I've had that issue more. That all kind of ties in a little bit with the importance of your keyword and keyword placement, but there's ways around it. But it's a completely different topic. But by doing some effective keyword research, you can get a good idea of how many times a topic's being searched, how many other people are using it. So it all determines how much time and effort you're willing to invest in your content. And that's what some people, just even if they want to, do not have the time. And that's where it's great to call Copywriter today.
Yeah, exactly. And the keywords are obviously just as important as the headlines. You just want to touch a little bit on those and how exactly the keywords would be used in, an article or a blog post that we would be writing for them.
Yeah, the keywords, some people just flat out don't know, but a keyword is what you're searching on Google. For instance, if I wanted to read about the Cubs, I would use the keyword World Series champions. So I would type that in.
I was thinking of a different word,
but anyway, use your keyword. And like I said, it isn't just something you pick off the top of your head. That's a common mistake people have. I learned the hard way. I wasted a lot of time writing by not having effective keywords. So there's different tools you can use out there for that. But once you find the keyword you want to use, what I'll try to do if I'm writing at least 1,000-word article is I'll have that keyword. I'll want it to be used in the headline. I'll want it to be used in the first paragraph of content, and then through the rest of the article, I'll try to use it at least 2 to 3 more times.
Okay. That was something I was going to ask. How many times would you be using it so it's effective, but you're not overkilling it?
Yeah, and that's what works for me in the area of content where I write the most. Not every area is the exact same. Again, that's where taking time to study and do research helps. But I found by using it, like I said, in the title, the first paragraph, and then 2 to 3 times throughout the rest of the article, that's
Hmm.
how I've been able to get the best SEO results and
Yeah.
as far as landing on the top page of search results. So,
Hmm. Awesome.
and
Um,
like I said, that's for at least a 1,000 word article. If you're only writing a 400 to 500 word article, that's way too much overkill.
yeah.
But
You don't want to sound repetitive. It
no,
wants,
not at all.
because that's not effective. That's just like, it's just kind of annoying for the lack of a
Yeah,
better word, you know?
yeah, because it's important once you pick your keyword, especially if it's a 2 or 3 word phrase. You want to make sure you're using it identical every time you use it. So yeah, it can be very irritating to read the same thing over and over. You got to be able to structure your sentences in a way to where you're using the same exact words, but you're using it in a way to provide new information than what you previously did earlier in the article.
Yeah. And how you said about placement, that brings up another topic, as like format and how that's also important for posts, because I get a lot of um, people that want us to write articles. I'm like, okay, well, is there anything specific, like, it's specific format? That's always one question that I always ask, is what kind of format you have. Is it like particular, or, and a lot of the times it kind of blows my mind. A lot of the times people are like, no, it's fine, it's whatever, go with what you want. I'm like, okay, well, that's
Yeah.
really important. So why do you think that's super important for blog posts too?
Well, normally in today's world we live in, a lot of time when an article is being read, time's relevant. So, people don't just sit down to read like they used to read the Sunday paper. It's
Yeah.
normally on a lunch break or waiting in line or just killing a few extra minutes.
What's a paper? No, I'm just kidding.
But you want to format in a way like what I've had to work on this a lot. I had difficulties with it when I first started looking at writing as a career instead of just a hobby.
Hmm.
And you want to make sure, for instance, you only want to be using 2 to 4 sentence long paragraphs. You want to put in bullet points. You want to have subheadings. You want to be able to break up the attention span of the person reading it. If all you have is from start to finish nothing but text, line after line after line, that's really boring. No
Yeah,
one's
I don't care.
interested.
Yeah, I don't care how interesting that topic is. I love reading, and I know you do too. And I wouldn't be able to, even take a jot at something that looks like that. It's just, a bunch of words mushed together.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm lazy. Reading something
Yeah.
like that takes work. I don't want to deal with all that. I want to be able to look at an article and see, okay, here's where they talk about this. Here's where they talk about this. And if you can write the key areas effective enough, that's when you get the reader to say, okay, you know what? Maybe I ought to go back and start at the beginning and read this article in its entirety.
Yeah,
So,
other than skimming it.
exactly. But when you make it to where they're able to skim it and skim it in a way that you're adding value. Like I said, you want to use your headline to ask a question. Well, they don't want to
Hmm.
have to search through that whole article to find a real quick answer. You want to be able to show them, you use your formatting in order to kind of like create a map throughout the article. Here's where you need to go for this. Here's where you go for this. And it really, not only will you get your audience to read more of it, but you're also get them to interact with it more.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's awesome. It's definitely a good point. And I was also thinking, so when, our customers are in their dashboard and they're placing orders, what they can also do is select a free stock photo. But it's not just like, when I say stock photo, I feel like it's like undermined. Like it's not some cheesy photo that we're gonna put in of like a lady handing something to a guy and like smiling at each other, Like, so you want to touch on a little bit about, how photos can really just, top everything all off in a post.
Yeah. For starters, you said something that really got my attention using a free stock photo. You know what? That's great. If you just need to find a picture real quick, but kind of like your headline, the image you use, especially the primary image,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be another way to grab their attention. And the content you use, that's an investment. So if you're not taking time to make your content worth reading, it's not going to get read. There's plenty of sites where you can go and get a nice image for $1 or $2 that's going to get more attention, because those free images, the thing about them, no matter how great of a picture is, everybody's using it because it's free. So you're
Yeah.
not setting your content aside from anybody else.
Yeah.
It's $1 or $2 per picture. I mean, like I said, content is an investment. You want a bigger return on what you're writing, or you just want it to take up space on your website. So, they say it all the time: a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So,
And it's to me, it's almost just as important as a headline, because if I see some cheesy photo or one that I've seen millions of times, it kind of ruins it for me. I totally, that's a Google search picture. Like, you just typed in something really, like, probably your keyword, and that came up, like, that's why I would take advantage of that. We give free stock photos with every article that we write for someone, because first of all, we use something that, we pay to use anyway. So we're not going on Google and searching, there's so much more to it than just doing that.
yeah. And for me, like you said, I read a lot constantly, and it's easier for me to remember a picture I've seen than a title or a headline. So if I'm seeing a picture that I associate with something I read within the last week, I'm obviously not going to read it again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the image is, and you know what, really, okay, here's the best way I know to put it. You could write an amazing article. I mean, best content anyone's ever read. If you've got a crappy image, it's never going to get read.
Yeah, it's really going to knock down the points.
Yeah, but you can take content that isn't necessarily as good, but you use an image that everybody notices, and your content's going to get read simply because of the picture that they associate with the article you're writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. So I see 2 people just popped on. If you just want to say hi and tell us where you're from. We're kind of wrapping our subject up, but you can go back and look at it after we end our live. So what we're going to be doing it's going to be every Wednesday at 1, which, by the way, our shows are going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if you just want to kind of remember that, or kind of follow the Copywriter Today page, and I'm sure it'll pop up and let you know. Then we will be doing some giveaways once a week. There will be one winner. So if you comment and, just ask a question or just kind of interact with us a little bit, and also if you share the video, you'll be entered into the drawing to win whatever we're going to be giving away, which, so like I said, every Wednesday we will be announcing what you can win, and then every Friday at 1, before we start talking about whatever that topic is on Friday, we will be announcing the winner, and then we will be sending over whatever you win to you. So everything that we're going to be giving away is what people on that are with us on Copywriter Today, they have to pay for. So completely take advantage of that, because free is good, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And everything that we're going to be giving is going to be valuable. And if you are already with us, that's awesome. If you're not, you'll get a little taste for kind of how we do things, and just maybe it'll, give you a little push to even just reach out to us and ask us more questions about that. So if you have any other questions, go ahead and ask. Or if you have any future topics that you would like us to talk about, just to, hear our view on it, or, something that you've been wondering about Copywriter today, feel free to reach out to us. So I think, did we kind of touch on everything then, Jeff? You have anything else to add?
No, just that this week we're giving away the content map, and
Yes.
it is a very, very effective tool.
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday's show, we will discuss some of the benefits and exactly how to use the content map. We're talking up quite a bit, and make sure you're fully aware of your need for one. And then Friday, you can win one if you take the time to comment and let us know who you are.
Yep. Awesome. So thank you everyone again for joining us and, taking some time and sitting with us and listening. So on any future episodes, ask us any questions. We kind of try and cover everything that you would need to know. And then don't forget about Wednesday is going to be where we put everybody in for the drawing, and we will be picking on Friday. So if nobody has any other questions, I see there's 2 more people on. So if you guys want to say hi real quick. But if nobody has any other questions, then I think we'll be signing off for the day. Alrighty, guys. Good. Well, we'll be seeing you Wednesday then, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it.
And check us out on YouTube.
Yes.
There'll be a link to the channel on the website, copywritertoday.net.
There you go. And also, if you guys want to, follow our notes for each show, then you can just reach out to us and we'll be able to send those to you as well.
Yeah, just comment your email and we'll make sure we send you out specific notes on what we've covered today.
Yep. All right, perfect. So you guys all have a good rest of your day. Go Indians. Go ahead, Jeff. You can say.
Hey,
go Cubbies.
I can root for the Indians when they got an off day. So go Cubs.
All right, guys. You have a good one.
All right. Later.
See you guys.